God bless you.
Hello.
Hey, everybody. How
Hey
you
there,
guys
everybody.
doing? Did you miss
Wow.
us? I know you did because we missed y'all.
We missed you all.
How about it?
Absolutely.
So we wanted you to come on in. We want you to invite someone and share the broadcast and let somebody know that hashtag GD and me. We are here in here like swimwear. Here every Tuesday through Thursday. I know we've been missing.
Yeah.
But it's because we've been working, y'all. We've been working.
That's the truth.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So we're going to give you guys just a few moments to get on in the room. And we have some special announcements that we've got for you guys. And we just want to let you know how much we appreciate all of you that come and you hang out with us and you talk with us and you input and you're sharing and you're giving love. We love that. And it makes such a big, huge difference in our lives. So for those of you that don't know, because I know some of you probably like, who is this cute couple? Who are these cute people on my screen?
You're cuter than ever. Hey, we're pastors Greg and Michelle.
Wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're apostles.
Apostles.
Greg and Michelle.
That's true.
Hashtag GD and me. Hey, Steve.
That's true. Hello,
Steve. What's up? Juice is in the
forever.
Juice
Good to
is
see
in the
you,
house.
We pray that you all are well. That's
We do.
Apostles Greg and Michelle.
That's us. Marriage makes the number 3.com.
We're here with you Tuesday through Thursday between 9 and 9:30 Central Standard Time.
Yeah,
at least that is our intended time
Very
slot.
true. Very true.
These past few, and I know you've told them over the past few.
It's been rough,
months,
y'all, but we've been doing it.
We have had a rough go at it, but we've been busy.
Amen.
And about the Father's business.
Yes.
And I can assure you of that.
Hello.
All right.
And that's the thing. I know I said it to someone already, and they know that we are not only cyber pastors. We started out as the Perry pastors, but we don't only pastor online. We have a brick and mortar building with people. They're in,
which requires upkeep of the building and the people, right?
Yes.
And if you're going to minister, you have to touch people's lives.
True that.
You have to do things, and not all of it is pretty. You get to know people, and you may find out some things that you don't like, or some things that you have to work with. And I'm sure that's true of all of us. If you may get to know me and find out that there's some things that you really don't particularly like, but you don't have to live with me, right? So we may have to, but we appreciate you all, and thank you for joining us. Thanks for remembering where we are.
Yes, absolutely.
And we want you to know that we appreciate you all. Thanks for coming in here.
So wanted to remind everybody that this Sunday evening, Sunday the 10th, it's so silly. Sunday the 10th of what is it?
April.
10th of April.
That's your birth month.
It is. Yes. All month we celebrate over in these parts, right? Yeah. So we wanted to just show you guys this because we thought it was amazing. Rachel Johnson, who is the talent attorney, is going to have us on her show. And we want you guys to see what she has put together. So just hold on just 1 second. Let me get this started for you.
For those of you who can't see this, make sure you check it out.
Bishop Oliver. Bless you, man of God.
Yes, sir.
He's watching the snake away. I love it. Yes. So you got to follow Rachel on, what is it, Straight Talk Live. And we're going to be talking, yes, and I think it's going to be amazing. You guys, be there with us. Some of our family, I know it's going to be Sunday, but we get to take a nap first, right?
Yeah,
and so
it's at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. You want to join us. If you're in the Pacific, that's 5 p.m. You're in the Mountain, that's 6 p.m. If you're on the East Coast, what time
it's 8 p.m. It's 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
But right. Bishop Oliver said, good evening. He was just watching the Snake Away video.
Okay, I probably need to watch that.
I love it. And, oh my God, that is so hilarious. Thank you so much, Bishop. It's
love you, Bishop.
It's something about those snakes. You got to watch them. And sometimes you do have them at your own home and don't realize it. And so tonight we wanted to just talk just for a little while about Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And I know who y'all think we talking about. Okay. I know who y'all think we talking about.
There's a lot we could say, but no, but we're
going to be good. Okay, we're going to, well, at least we're going to try, because this is our first night back. I think, well, it's our second night. Well, yeah, you came on just a little while.
Yeah,
they did. They wanted to see you to make sure that I hadn't done anything or buried you in the backyard or anything. This is the second night.
Oh, you weren't in
because last night I passed out. It was Tuesday that I came on it, and last night I passed out. Yep. Okay. Steve says, "How's the jewelry store going? Anything new?" We haven't been really working on that.
There's always something new, but we're not
putting anything else out. You know, one of a kind stuff. It's kind of hard to put everything on the site, and so
and some pieces go the moment that they're made.
It's true. Yes, especially if I like them a lot.
And that's perfectly fine.
Amen. Fine. So I want you guys to let us know if you all ever saw the movie called Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Hey, Paola, love you, woman. Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Now, no, that's the wrong couple. Okay. I know they all have the same kind of name that's very familiar all over the place, like Jones and you know that. But we're talking about the Smiths. All right. So Mr. and Mrs. Smith, they were a couple that were the gentleman, I believe he was in construction, and he was an undercover assassin. You have awesome. Paola knows what we're talking about. And the wife, she was also an assassin, but they did not know that each other worked privately as assassins.
Killers for hire.
Killers for hire, right? So when we come in, Jane Smith is married to James, John and Jane Smith. Very, you know, the names
no relation to the Does.
The Does.
John Doe or Jane Doe.
Well, it could be.
Yeah.
They're so bland. You know, those are those names that you don't really think about too much. It's not like Mostella.
Fit right in.
Right. Yeah. You're not looking crazy. You're not like, what, how do you say that? You ain't doing any of that. It's a Smith. It's Jane Smith and John Smith. You know, the two of them, they're married to each other. Hey, Sister Shirley, love you. And so the two of them are in the marriage, they're in the marriage counselor's office. I believe when you cut in, they're in the marriage counselor's office, and they're talking about how horrible their relationship has become. Now, they met and they married quickly. And they just thought everything was just going to be wonderful. And I guess it was for a little bit of time, but then they really started disliking one another. There was no communication. The sex was blah, all of that. And so ended up that the two of them had an assignment to kill this one person. And they found out that the two of them were assassins on this particular assignment, this mission. And while they found that out, and they didn't kill the person, the person got away. And so now they are supposed to kill one another.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Isn't this a tangled web? And so when I see this dynamic being played out, I see the same thing being played out with the other Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Oh, baby.
Okay.
That's deep. you just, oh my goodness. Are you all listening to this?
Did anybody see the movie?
So the same dynamic.
It's the same kind of dynamic. Hey, Tamara, God bless you, sweetheart. It's the same kind of dynamic. I love you, but I hate you. I want to be with you, but something never seems to quite be right. I'm bored in the relationship. And so what do? I go out and I do other things, and then I come back to the relationship. The only issue is
I kill somebody, then we come back and
and then everything will be just fine.
Hello,
well, see, the problem is that they became bored in the relationship.
Wow.
And so sometimes what a person does in these types of things, what we do is we try to add things that are really not things that we ought to be adding. Okay.
Wow.
Now, who was that? Who was that woman? The comedian lady. Her and her husband, Sydney, and I can't think of her name. Somebody help me. You watch the movie. You look beautiful. Are you drinking from the fountain of youth?
She does.
I love you, Pastor gorgeous. Matt from Winnipeg. How are you, man of God? Shalom. Thank you for coming in. We didn't see you. Apostle Prophet Nikki is here. You. Lord bless you, woman of God. We love you guys. Appreciate y'all.
Our family.
All right. So here's the thing. So that Sydney and Monique. Sydney and Monique, right? You know, well, if something didn't work that the traditional way, let's try and throw some spice in it. Let's try and throw something else in it. But the problem comes in is this dynamic is all right for the enemy to come in and blow on it.
Wow.
And the same thing that happened with Mr. and Mrs. Smith, John and Jane on the movie, which was Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, by the way. Hey, Kimmy doll. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, they end up killing other people outside of the relationship and not knowing that they are assassins, right? And if they would have known, they probably, you know, it's a very intriguing position to be in. Like, oh my God, you do the same kind of work as I do. And we have more in common. We have our intellectual intimacy, our physical, emotional intimacy. If we could talk about the people that we have to kill, I bet it would be exciting.
Wow.
But you see how you're putting in something that is really not ethical, something that is not kosher, something that is not civil. When we start adding things to what God has put into place.
Wow.
Okay, this is how we find ourselves into trouble. Hey, Denise, thank you for coming.
So people are creating a playbook that's outside of parameters of what God said
in the first, exactly.
Rather than work on getting to know each other.
Come on.
They introduce an animal.
Yes.
Into the relationship.
Okay. See.
Or what was the singer's name that the other Mrs. Smith bought into the bedroom?
Oh, in August.
And Mr.
September, October.
And Mr. Smith, well, he was okay with it. He agreed with it. He signed off on it.
And see, so here's the issue is that they making up their own book.
Come on.
Sometimes what happens with us is we go along to get along.
Ooh.
And when you're in a marriage or a relationship and you're going along to get along, you've got to know that there is some toxicity in your dynamic. Okay.
Like poison.
Yes, exactly.
It'll kill you.
It'll kill you dead.
It'll kill you dead.
You're so silly. I cannot with you. Right? And so this is what we're dealing with in this particular arena is the marriage isn't all that you want it to be. And so now instead of me working on the two of us in the marriage, what we do is we pull something else in. Here's another issue that we have, we found with some of our couples. They think that, you know, let's have a baby.
Ooh.
What?
Yeah.
Are you out your mind? If we're already having issues, we already can't communicate. Do you think long nights, no sleep, breast milk stained shirts and dresses, do you think that sitting up here changing dirty diapers is going to help the relationship? You are sadly mistaken. And then we've got those that instead of going full force with the whole 9 months of a baby, here's what they'll do. They'll get a pet. And I'm not talking about fish, which, you know, some fish might be okay, right? So she said, "Before I let you beat me."
And Tamara is replying to Tamara, so you're 5 minutes late, honey.
Oh, Lord, she probably was talking to, what's the name? This all points back to how crucial it is, Pastor Matt says, to have that triple cord strand between us, our spouse and Adonai. Amen. Right. Now, y'all know that we are Christian pastors, right? And because of this, this. We believe that the playbook, the blueprint, has everything there ready for us, but we have to go in deeper than what we have then. We like to skate the surface a lot, not only in marriages, but even in individuals. When we say things like, well, how you doing? I'm fine.
Yeah. Just gloss over.
Yeah, I'm fine. Your back hurt, your leg hurt.
And most of us would just say, oh, that's good.
Okay.
Without ever really hearing what was said.
Yes.
And the truth is that anytime we leave what God has said in terms of the playbook,
come on,
we're messing up. We're inviting the enemy.
Yes, we are. Absolutely right.
We're inviting the enemy in. And with the enemy comes a place of destruction. Sure. Anything that is in the relationship that is, and we'll talk about this, but when you introduce something in the relationship that God has said is not to be in it, or the God did not sanction to be in it, then you invite in a self-destruction element.
Oh, come on.
Right. And so if you want your relationship to be a success, then you have to understand that it's going to take some work. It isn't just one size fits all.
Right.
Just throw two people together and they'll become one.
Yes.
One what?
Well, that's the issue. And that's another part, honey. And before I address that, what you just said about what one, Denise says disgusting animals. Yeah, people are doing
animals, robots, daughter, another person. Sharon.
Yes. Oh my God.
And one of the things that makes it that makes us not as popular as we should be is because we're talking to a world that's gone crazy.
True that.
Just in the paper today, in the news today, there was an article from the Yazoo City, Mississippi, which is South Mississippi, about a man that was found guilty of raping his daughter. Ugh. 6 different occasions that they know of, and I can't go into details, but it is if you search it and Google it, you'll find it.
She said it's straight crazy and a hot mess. You're absolutely right. I don't know how anyone can look at a offspring from themselves and think that looks good or that's something to be desired.
Or look at a child.
Period. Yes, exactly.
There's something twisted, and we want stuff that's twisted. We want right things to look wrong and wrong things to look right.
And this is where we're headed in our world. So Shirley says they would be better off frying some fish and sitting down somewhere. Yes, ma'am. You are so right about it. All right. And let's see, opening the door for the devil. And Pastor Matt said the truth is this: if there is no healthy communication, there is no shalom.
Come on.
And for those of you that don't know what shalom is peace. And you want peace, especially if you're going to be in a relationship, in a marriage especially. And Shirley says they definitely have a mental issue. And it's true. There's something very demonically inspired about that. Now, you mentioned something that you come into the marriage and you're trying to decide which one, right? And so here's the issue, is this thing called competition. And one thing that I love about you is that you know your lane and you know my lane. You know what I'm saying? Like I have had the unfortunate experience of being with someone in a relationship that was in competition with me. And I'm like, you can't compete with me. Look at me. I'm dark chocolate. I'm a female. And the Lord anointed me totally different than how he anointed you. Now, this is the gentleman that I say he has a PhD in shadeology. Okay, this man can put the shade on you. You just feel the cool breeze pass by. You feel a little shiver, and you don't even realize that you have been shaded sometimes not until you walk away. Sometimes it's like 2 or 3 days later. You're like, wait a minute, Pastor G, that was some shade that he was throwing over there at me. Yes, Yes, it was. And a doctor, someone that has a doctor, a PhD in shadology, they can do that. You don't even know that they just told you all the way off. Okay? Until later. And then you can get mad if you want to, but it's too late because ain't nothing else that you can say. Right? Let's see. She said they definitely have a mental issue. Get the bail money ready. As a matter of fact, just send commissary. She said you put some money on my books.
I'm going to
jail. Just put some money on my books.
My son.
Amen.
And you and I are supposed to be
together, and we no. See, that's why I was telling somebody just today. The reason I left the United States Air Force, the reason that I said, okay, it's time out for me, is because I had a small child, and if somebody would have done something to my small child, I know I was going to jail. There was no question about it. You know what I'm saying? And I remember thinking to myself that I might as well go ahead and get out, because if I stay in and I go to jail, then I'm still have no control over who's watching my children, right? And I said, let me go on to the house. I'm going to do what I got to do for now. I can't be the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force just yet, right? Because this little person needs me. And so that's what I did, what needed to be done. And so when we're talking about Mr. and Mrs. Smith, you have to see that there's a dynamic. There is a competition type of a dynamic going on there. And one, and here's the issue. When you say we become one, and when you're trying to figure out which one, because there's a dominant there and a submissive there. And here's the other part, is that the domineering in that woman, the spirit behind that, was very emasculating to the male submissive.
Wow. So the submissive is the one who becomes an enabler.
Pretty much, yes.
Right? They're the person who tells, Mr. Smithers or Mr. Cogswell, he can't come in today because he's got the swine flu,
right?
Or he's got corona, when the truth is he's hungover,
yes,
or she's hungover, whichever the case may be, right? So the submissive becomes an enabler. If ever the submissive became strong enough to say, look, I'm not going to tolerate this in a relationship.
Yes.
You're not going to put your hand on me. They're more apt to put up with being manhandled or beaten,
right,
or dominated in some way,
yes.
right? And so you have to know, in fact, that person may know that daddy, husband, is leaving the bed every night about the same time.
Yeah, that's
right.
True. That's true.
And disappearing for a certain length of time.
Yep.
So they may know that the child is being or suspected.
Yes.
Strongly suspected. See, but if they say something, then that means that
now
it's true.
Right.
Now I know it.
Yeah.
I have it's no longer a cognitive thing.
Right.
I know outright that they are abusing my child.
Yes.
Right.
And so we have to be careful. Now, when everything is out of balance, here's the issue. Because the Bible, I know a lot of people are like, well, the woman is supposed to be submissive. The Bible says that we are supposed to be submissive one to another. Right? And what does that mean? It just means to yield to each other. Like, we come into an intersection. Well, I'm not going to run you over. You're not going to run me over. We're going to yield to one another. And whoever gets there needs to go, and then the next one will come. Now, you can become submissive in different aspects as opposed to others. Like, for example, if one person is a great cook, a chef in the home, then you are the person that becomes the dominant in the nutrition area. And the submissive is the one that can't cook nothing, can't boil nothing, can't put nothing in the toaster without burning it. And so what happens is I'm just arranging myself under you because you know, and you have a more stint towards doing that particular thing. You're good at it. Why should I take it and try to kill everybody with the food?
Yeah.
Right. And so here's the thing. Usually in a home, you will hear that the man is supposed to be out making the bacon and she's supposed to be frying it up. Hey, Stephanie. Hey, brown skin Yasha. Thanks for joining. Hello. But here's the problem, and here is the issue, is that if that man is a great cook, if he is a chef, then why in the world are you relegating her to the kitchen when that's not her, that's not her strength, that's not her strong suit, right?
And in fact, it in a relationship like that, what you're doing is they're dying a little bit at a time.
It's true,
right?
It is.
I know that I'm failing at this. I suck at this.
Yes, but I'm
in here doing it, and I'm going to go through the motion. And after a while, after it's done, then he's going to remind me, or she's going to remind me how bad I was at it.
Yeah.
Or they will kind of go ahead and tolerate the food. Yeah. But later on, I'm going to hear it again.
Yes.
Right.
Or I'm going to put some barbecue sauce on it, which is the Grey Poupon of ketchups, as one of our spiritual sons said. And I know it's the funniest thing. Every time I say that to him, he just cracks up because I can say this because we've said it publicly before. He and his former wife, they had a big argument on Periscope. Logged in, y'all. Honey, you suck as a cook, right? They logged on to Periscope and they were having this whole huge knockdown, drag out fight because he was putting barbecue sauce on something she had made. He tasted it first and he still wanted to put the barbecue sauce. But if you know him well enough, you know that he puts barbecue sauce on everything. Okay, like he said, that barbecue sauce is the Grey Poupon of ketchup. Right. And so you can't be mad at him if that's what he likes. And here's the thing. If you don't like it and somebody makes you eat it that way, then you become resentful.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay? It's not something that I enjoy anymore because I have to have it the way you want me to have it.
Right. And we have to learn that in our relationships that there's going to be some give and take. There's going to be some things that I don't like. My children put barbecue sauce on everything.
Okay. And you accept,
and it's fine.
This is what they're going to do.
Right. So what happened to Facebook Live? Sauce. I don't know. We're still here. We're still here. I still see people talking. She said that's like hot sauce on everything. Exactly. Stephanie says that my rebuttal would be, so does your twisted toe of feet. So you are something serious.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you're cooking sauce. So twisted toe of feet.
And Prophet Nikki said we would just order some pizza. I know that's right.
See, and listen. Can I drop this? Can I tell you something that's really going to make your life a lot easier?
Yeah.
Maybe some of you already know this. You have to, in life, in marriage, in anything you do, choose the time to fall on your sword.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Falling on your sword.
Yes.
It's a practice that Japanese, we know during World War II and also earlier on, has been part of Japanese history, that when, and Roman soldiers, when they feel like that all hope is lost, they have two swords and they have one that's right here and they fall on it to take their lives, to take themselves out, rather than have the enemy. King Saul did this, rather than have the enemy take me out. I'm going to go ahead and take myself out.
Yep.
It's called falling on your sword. Falling on your sword. It may be telling your boss off.
Yes.
Okay. If I am tired of this job, if I'm up to the point where I can no longer come in on this job, then that's the time you're going to tell your boss off, because you know you're not coming back, right?
Because you won that lottery ticket.
Falling on your sword, saying the wrong things to your spouse.
Yes.
You have to know, what is it that's going to cause me? Somebody said, if I know this is going to happen, then I'm going to be 68% saved.
Okay, hello.
That's I know I'm going to jail.
Okay.
I'm going to jail. So I'm going to fall on my sword when
right.
And you have to make a decision.
Yeah.
Don't go through life miserable, afraid to move one way or another because you know, if you got a sword, and I'm not, no, don't take your life.
Right, amen.
But choose what you're going to do.
Yes.
You know?
And you have to know it ahead of time.
Yeah.
And this is why we have to know ourselves first before we're getting into relationships with other people.
Come on.
Because I need to know when I'm fed up and I've had it up to here and, enough is enough and too much stinks, that I can get myself under control before I find myself in that movie in my mind with the gun, with the knife, the drive-by, whatever it is that my mind will mess me up and have me going there because now I'm so angry. So the dynamic, number one, is that competition piece. When I'm married to you, we're on the same team and we're not in competition with each other. You've got your strengths and your weaknesses, and I've got my strengths and my weaknesses. And when we come together, it is so that whatever I'm weak in, that you're strong. And whatever I'm strong in, then you might be weak. But we're in this thing together and we can hold it up.
And because we're in it together, your strength is my strength.
Is your strength, yes.
When she does well, we're
doing great, baby. Yes, I can clap for you, even when you're on stage and I'm out here in the audience.
And can I tell you this? That if you've got somebody who cannot be happy for you when you are on top or when you're doing well, someone who never has a good word to say, they want to gloat about their successes, but when you do something, they want to quickly gloss on, oh yeah, and listen to what happened to me, right? They want to quickly gloss over what you went through. You have to build each other. You have to encourage each other. We're not in competition
with each other. No, ma'am. No,
same dang team.
Hashtag same dang team. She said we got to draw from each other, and that's the whole truth. Here is the dynamic piece number 2. When you are dealing with someone that is controlling, okay, we saw that. It was funny up until the moment that I noticed that you seemed off about it. And yes, we're supposed to pick up on each other's cues. I ought to know before anything ever pops off where I am and where he would be. I know the things that he doesn't like, right? He knows the things I don't like. He knows the buttons. He knows the buttons in me that is going to ignite something, right? I know the buttons in him that is going to ignite something that's not going to be good. And so we have to be in the place where we're not controlling of one another, because let me tell you something. When it was first a laughter thing, because it was funny, and I'm not saying that because I'm so into Mr. Rock or any of that. I thought it was hilarious because number one, I thought it was her that was in G.I. Jane, but it was Demi Moore. And so, it was crazy. So I was like, what's the big deal? That was my first thought. It was so long ago. My second thought was this. I never knew that there was ever an issue with the alopecia. I didn't know that. I don't know if he knew or not. But here's the thing. This is what they do. And you can't be out here in Hollywood being thin skinned.
When you say they, comedians. If you go to a comedy show, and you heckle the comic, you can look for them to insult you.
Oh, yes.
Don Rickles, during his lifetime, I guess he's still alive. He was a king of insults. He would insult your mama, and every other member of your family.
What they call it, doing the dozens.
Yes. And everybody would laugh. And so we're living in an age now where, and see, he was laughing. Both of them were over there laughing about other stuff until it turned to her.
Yes. And that facial expression that she turned. Remember the Nutty Professor? Okay. Yes. When her face turned from...
And the eye roll.
Right. And then it was like, in his mind, it looked like to me, now I don't know, I'm not in his mind, but it looked like to me, kind of, sort of, Christy. She said, "Ready." Well, it looked like to me that he knew that if he said nothing or did nothing right then, that he was going to hear for this for the rest to pay. I'm going to have hell to pay. How you going to just let them? You see what I'm saying? And because
that's why I went to Austin before, because you didn't cover me. We weren't talking about that, Mr. Smith. But listen, he relived something, and it happened so quickly. You have to know what's in you.
True.
You got to know what's in you. What is it that pushed my buttons? What is it that makes me so mad that I could spit? Right? What is it that makes me feel like I could lose it, that I could really go off?
Yes.
You got to know yourself.
You got to know yourself. She said he did a whole movie about good hair, and he, as a Black man, should know how women are sensitive about our hair. I get it, Kim, but again, it's that whole thing of this is what comedians do. Only a fool goes to a comedy show and sit in the front thinking you may not be the butt of a joke. Don't go on what's his name show? Oh my God. It's Nick Cannon. He's got a crazy show, and they consistently on each other. That's what they do, right? And so I'm not defending. Thank you.
She's gorgeous.
You're not defending Chris in what was said or anything like that. But we talk about weave. We talk about the Jerry Curl. We still talk about stuff like that. I think it was really the straw that broke the camel's back. And it's very possible, Kim, that it was. So now I'm thinking about, well, where is his mental health? Because it wasn't that long ago that we were hearing and dealing with this whole thing with the entanglement. Y'all know we did a whole show about entanglements, right? And when she said, and this was this other third piece here, the lack of respect. When I know your buttons and you know mine, when I know that some things will bother you as opposed to something else. When she said, I just wasn't being satisfied. When you emasculate a man, and listen, he's a leading man, okay? He's not the side person in the show, okay? His name is always
on the marquee.
Okay.
First.
Right? But when I go home and with the person that I love,
baby.
Okay, they don't see me like that. They see me as a plaything. They see me as, oh, it's just my husband or it's just my wife. When everybody else is able to see the worth and the value in that person, except the person that they most want it from, sometimes you're trying to be validated by someone that will never give you the validation that you need. Y'all, and powerful. It will cause you to shrink down. It will cause your mental health to begin to sway because you're constantly on this treadmill trying to figure out, what can I do for them to see me the way they saw that person? What can I do for them to check for me or support me the way that they do with that other person? Y'all see how that works?
And that becomes bigger to me than this award. That looms over my mind. In my mind, that's looming to be larger than and it's more important to me that I received that than any of this other stuff. There was no thought that they may escort me out of here. Or that the police may be called or any of that. This and again, we're not at all. We certainly don't justify it. It wasn't right. No. Two wrongs
don't make it right. Exactly.
And I've always said that I don't care for comedy, that type of comedy. Because I think you can be funny without insulting anybody. You know, but us, some of us won't go to it without the cussing and fussing.
It's the truth. So let's see. But Will Packer said that joke was not on the prompter. He went off script to present that joke. And it's very possible. That's
and they often
that's what we do. That's what we
in
do.
the moment.
Amen. Let's see. Shirley says, I think he has some stored up issues. That slap should have happened with August, not Chris. Yeah. I feel, and this is me.
Saving it.
Okay. I think Jada also.
Mad at the boss, but you come home and kick the dog at the end of the day.
Misplaced anger. That's a problem. I think Jada also throws other men in his face, like he is fighting with the ghost of Tupac. Yes.
Come on.
I agree with you, Kim, on that one, especially because this, she's all, he was the love of my life and there was nobody else. And so here you're trying to come into the shadow of that and overtake that, and has just by it seemed like just by value of us being together that long and having children together, that would have overtaken. It's hard. A memory is a great thing to have, but when you are tracing after the ghost of someone else to try to be better, and there is no more competition between you because the person is dead, you can't compete with a dead person. You know what? You just can't. It's not going to work. Let's see. We will talk about those rich folks laughing out loud. We will still talk about them. Let's see. It's not enough for some people. You're right, Brown Yasha, and that's the truth. So let's see. People were making jokes that said if he was that mad in March, wait until August. Oh my goodness. Okay. So let me say this as well. Misplaced anger, and that was number 4.
That's good.
Misplaced anger, because I really believe that the dynamic when you see him walk up there with an open hand, y'all get this now. Most men that were in Independence Day, I am pretty eyes. In Independence Day, in Men in Black, you're doing all of this fighting and kicking and rolling around and guns and all of that. But instead of him going up there and using a fist, he went with a smack.
And it was a lean back smack.
He said it was a lean back.
I mean, he leaned back to get
he leaned out,
get some air in it, right?
And it's like, I feel like for not all men, but men especially that are not abusers, men that don't hit women, that, oh my God, I'm saying this, y'all don't shout me down, but I feel like that open hand would have been more directed towards a woman, okay? When I say misplaced anger, I'm laughing at first, but now that I see that you're upset, now I have to put on my big boy pants, and now I have to defend you, even though you didn't defend me. Even though you put my name in the publications, you got me out here, talking about how you wasn't satisfied and I just needed something else, and it was 4 months, and knowing all of this on national TV when everybody else knew it at the same time. Table. Oh my God.
Yeah. And if something like that has not come up, listen, and this is why we do what we do.
Yes.
To give people a place that you can go to. There has to be you need some people in your corner. Whether you're in Hollywood or regardless of where you are, you need people that you can go to and that you can talk to where the cameras are not running. And even though we do this broadcast here in this setting in social media, when we're sitting and talking with you, this is for your consumption. This is to help you to get better in your relationship, help you to choose better in terms of developing, having a relationship, to help you get better before you get into a relationship.
Exactly.
We need this, folks. We need this. And a lot of people who you're walking around and you think they're perfectly fine. And what you don't understand is that it really takes a great deal of energy, of time to get into a role, to get into a place of another person, a character. If I were playing Joe Jackson, right, then, it would take a lot out of me. And at what point, when do I de-roll? How can I come out of there? And a lot of people, can I tell you this? Can I drop this bomb on you? You all, it seems like there's not a week or a few days that go past that another rapper isn't end up dead somewhere.
It's the truth.
Someone, they killed one and stood him up, you know, I guess as a sign of an insult, left him standing like he was in the club entertaining. You know,
wow.
And I'm afraid that some of them are selling their souls to the devils. Right?
Yes.
Some are selling their souls for a little fame and a little fortune, quick money.
Right.
Are selling their souls.
Yes, Lord.
And are dying before it's their time.
I believe it. Brown Skin Yasha says, I can't imagine Will's mindset. And then she said, I believe she did that to grow her show. That was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Okay. Wow. When they had them standing up, like, what are y'all doing?
Ever.
All right. So let's see. Shirley said, okay, wait. No. Let me get down here. Give me your phone. Somebody said, give me your phone. I think Will struggles with the guidelines Jada established for their marriage versus God's way. Yeah. Because he did not grow up in that type of an environment. Yeah. You know, he grew up pretty traditionally, even though there were some things that were dysfunctional. Yeah. He still grew up in a more traditional space. And I think what happens with us as well is some of the things that we were missing as a youth, we find that in the person that we marry. Yeah. Right. And so here I came into the confines of something that's supposed to be safe, something that's supposed to be nurturing, something that is supposed to be my sanctuary. And then we opened it up like a playground. Oh, we have an open thing. And why is that? Because I don't want to lose you, but I know that you're not in the place that you feel like you need to be. And you should never settle for something that you did not agree to. If you're agreeing to it just so that you can go along to get along, at some point or the other, it's going to bite you in the butt. Right. Let's see. She says he checked into a facility today for mental health because of all the backlash. Yeah. I'm so happy to hear about that.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear
that. I am glad to hear that.
And listen, at some point, there has to be, if there's not a change or a course correction with their relationship, then there's going to be the demise of their relationship. Not that sometimes that's not a bad thing.
It's true.
And I believe that when marriage is done God's way, you know, you ought to stay and you should be able to work through it.
Right.
If there's no physical abuse, no mental abuse, if you're not, you know, so there's a place of grace, I believe, where it can be fixed.
I agree.
But there are other times when
I agree.
You can't stay together just so that you have the longest marriage in Hollywood.
Man, ain't nobody got time.
Because your grown children are still living with you. You know, there are times when you have to do what's best for your life. Or is this killing me? You know, and how soon before it kills
me completely.
It kill my career?
Yeah.
You know,
and kill my soul. Listen, your mind, your will, your emotions is important. Okay. It's important. Your mental health is important. No covenant is covenant. Come on. Your mental health is important. And if you're in a relationship where your mental health begins to suffer, then we want you to see someone. There are people that we counsel in the marriage that we also encourage that you need to see an individual counselor. There is someone out here that is going to be able to hear your heart, deal with some of the issues that you've got going on in you. Because you can't fix us without you being good. All right. I am, because there's a you in us. I am pretty. I said some of them would rather run from the problem and chase a harlot than to work things out with their spouse. It's true. And you know, and when that's the case, then do you want to stay there? Emma said he saw the hurt in his wife's face that triggered his emotional state to protect his wife. Chris Rock appears to have a jealous streak against Will, and furthermore, his whole platform is based on racial jokes and mainly to an all-white audience. That's why I don't have any respect for him anymore. I'm just saying. Thank you for giving us your feedback. You know, and some of that very well could be the issue, that there is some sort of competition between them. They're comedians, right? But those are certain things that we need to learn, that No response sometimes is the best response. All right. Sometimes what we have to do is keep ourselves in the check. He could have talked to him later, because look at the implication of what has happened now for his career and his life. This is a mark on a legacy. This is not only going to be for this one time. This is going to be I mean, you heard Chris, this is the greatest night in television. You know what I'm saying? Because we're going to be talking about this for a very, very, very long time. Sometimes silence is the best weapon that you can give to people. We tell people that are in ministry, especially, there might be some scandal going on. Give it 3 weeks. Don't be out here telling people off, giving people a piece of your mind, because when you give your piece, that means you leaving your piece. Okay. And that means that you don't have the peace that you had when you went in.
That's true.
Amen.
And that one time that you lose your cool, may be the time that you lose the respect.
Everything.
A whole lot of respect.
Absolutely.
I want to emphasize strongly that Will Smith, and I remember, and he's still my favorite, probably one of my favorite actors right now. If you ask me for a movie that I want to see over and over again, it's one of the Men in Black or Independence Day, because of his lead. And now the issue is right here is that we have a whole and role models.
Yes,
we have a whole culture that it's easier for them to deal, young Black men, to deal with a gun and Sacramento gang warfare going on in the streets. People died over the weekend. We have a whole issue with people not knowing how to handle their emotions, not knowing how to handle anger.
That's true.
And there's a lot of it. So when a person that is known, that is respected, loses it. You know, Bill Cosby, now Will Smith. You know, how do we, our role models? How do we deal with it when dad is not at home, when there's not a father figure at home? Not in every case, but hearing he is absolutely a great actor.
Yes,
but somehow we have to take care of the person.
Yes.
And if you're out there, you have to take care of you. You have to know how to get your emotions under control. If you lose it, your son, your daughters, your grandsons, whoever it is, may be watching you.
Right.
And you're an example to somebody.
Yes. Shirley says, and mama can't be the counselor, need to be a non-biased person. That part. Yes, ma'am. Exactly.
Thank you.
You heard that. Stop being a superwoman. Oh, they talking amongst themselves. Y'all are so funny.
Sisters.
Brown skin Yasha says they're human at the end of the day.
Amen.
And we have to be disciplined. It's true. If you are the whole purpose of being a disciple of Christ for us is that you are disciplined. That there are certain things that you're not going to partake in. There are certain things that you're just not going to do. Do we lose it on occasion? Yes. Because like she said, we are human beings. But we need to give the same kind of grace to other people as the kind of grace that we want for ourselves. We're not doormats. God never said to, lay down and let someone walk all over you. He never said that. Absolutely. There were some times when he said to don't fight, I'll fight the battle for you. But then there's other scriptures where he says that I'll teach your hands to war and your fingers to fight. And so you have to know the difference between those two. And you have to make sure that your mental health and your marriage relationship, that they are on par. Because with one thing, it'll mess with the other. We can't compartmentalize our relationships because our relationships span everything else. It's like being a believer. Pick up your sword. That's right.
Yeah, put up to Peter. He said, "Put up your sword."
Exactly.
He never said get rid of it.
He never said get rid of it. But one thing we have to learn is that as believers, that me being a believer is going to touch every part of my life, my money, my family, my friends, the places that I go, the things that I look at, the things that I say, the things I put my hands to, all of those places are going to be affected because of my core belief. right? And so in a marriage, in a relationship, you've got to find out what your core beliefs are. Why did you come together? What is the purpose of this marriage, this relationship? Some people think just because they cute, they should marry them. Baby, serial killers is cute. Right? And so you don't want to get into something just because you had a feeling, because feelings don't last. Commitment, covenant lasts. I feel like Will had a human moment, and although it was the wrong thing at the wrong time, I don't feel all his hard work should go to waste. Because absolutely not. I agree with that 110%, Kimmy Doll. Absolutely. One mistake should not color everything you have done in your entire life. Absolutely not. I agree with that. Want to remind you all again that on Sunday, this Sunday coming up, that we will be with the talent attorney, Rachel, facebook.com/live with Rachel. Everything is established on the Sure Foundation. That's why we see and do things differently. Come on here, Brown Yasha. Amen. We're going to play this one more time for you guys. We want you all to come and hang out with us when we are with Rachel this Sunday, 5 Pacific, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. Facebook.com/live with Rachel.
Can we increase our volume so that our IG audience can hear?
Yes, sir. Well, it's just music. Join us Sunday, April the 10th, for our first Straight Talk Live on the Rachel Johnston Show. Breaking news. Special guest, Apostle Gregory and Michelle will speak on love, sex, and marriage. #marriagemakes3.com. We are here for you before I do, after I do, and everywhere in between. And we want you to know that we love you, we appreciate you, and we thank you so very much for coming and being a part of Marriage Makes the Number 3.
That's Sunday, April 10th at 5 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
Amen. All right. So,
Rachel.
Live with Rachel. We will be here. We'll be in here like swimwear. Finally know how to wave. I love it. All right, everybody. We thank you for hanging out with us, and we'll be back on Sunday. So come and be a part. All right. Facebook.com/live with Rachel, or you can find our page, marriagemakes3.com, Facebook.com/MMTHREE. Follow us all over, and we appreciate you guys. And you know what we always say here.
Always remind you that God loves you and we love you. And ain't a thing you can do about it up in Him. Kingdom blessings to you, Brown.
All right.
Yasha.
We love you guys.
Blessings to you all.
To you all. We'll see you guys Sunday night.
Yes.
Sunday.
Yes.
Don't forget. Yes. We'll be back to let you all. We'll remind you guys. Probably Saturday. We're going to remind y'all. Okay. Love you.